went live on YouTube. Okay, now I gotta navigate.
Oh, but no, we're not right for this.
Oh,
Hi.
well, I can move over a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I'm in the middle of this one.
I'm going to have to move closer. Sorry. You're sort of being cut off a little. I think we're good.
So you're getting behind the scenes, AJ and I trying to figure out how to do this.
We are.
We're not live on Facebook. We're only live on YouTube and AJ's Facebook. Hey, AJ's peeps. We'll have to talk up so you can hear us because we actually have our microphone in front of us, but it's not hooked up to you.
I know. I got to get it hooked. Anyway, yeah, I have to talk loudly. We're having volume issues. But we'll get that fixed by next week.
Too loudly, in which case
hey, Lee, you did a great job at the festival. Thank you. Yay, Lee.
If you can't
she
hear
looks so
us,
cute. She
let
had,
us know.
she had a little white hat on for her kundalini. She looks so cute.
All right.
Are we good?
Go live on these others.
We're getting there, people. We're getting there. But Ken's a little slow.
It's not that slow considering I've got 3.
Can I share something though? You have done amazingly better. You have improved every time. And that's the truth. You deserve a little gold star. If I had it, I would give it to you.
Hold on. There must be a gold star in it.
Yay. Yay. He really has. Because let me tell you, at the beginning, it wasn't pretty when you first started doing it. And now you got it down.
Because I did radio, and radio, everything was taken care of for me. I just had to talk in the microphone and do the research.
I know.
This is much
and
more
your
complicated.
Research is so intense.
Well, it wasn't today, but excusez-moi, you're not the one doing the research.
I think you did a great job. You got
I'm
some
the
good
one
articles.
that gets on.
You got some great articles going.
Adios,
so, hello, hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy AJ.
Sí, de seguro.
Ken, abogado, en tres. I don't know states.
Why are we doing Spanish?
I don't know. I just started in Spanish.
Right.
And my Spanish sucks so bad. People just look at me like, what is that woman saying? So anyway, this is Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder. It was on the radio.
Or as sometimes called, AJ's Law and Disorder. Go ahead.
It's Ken's. I am just the co-host. I just sit here. And he used to have a radio show here in Dallas quite a long time ago, over a decade ago. And it was on for a long time, called Ken Goldberg's Law and Disorder. So here we are bringing it to y'all on the podcast live on certain stations.
Wait, it looks like you're out of the. Oh, that's because I got the screen cut off.
Okay, I'm gonna take back what I said about Ken getting used to technology. I'm taking it back. Did you see the? And I'm AJ. I'm sorry. I'm AJ. Dallas Yoga Magazine and the Cosmic Yogi Festival, which we just had last weekend, and it was phenomenal. More people than ever, more fun than ever. We actually had a fire show by Femme Prey.
I got somebody sent me a video. You didn't, but somebody sent me a video. So
how was it?
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, but it was blurry. The video.
I'm sorry. The girls weren't blurry doing it.
I would think not if you were standing there.
They were gorgeous. They really were. They were all
focus.
Beautiful, and they had these amazing costumes, and I would never in a million years do what they do. They take these swords and they hang them on their head, and it's got fire here and fire here, and they make the swords twirl around. It's like, oh my God. Amazing. It'd be great to see it at night.
So the beautiful thing is AJ just promoted something that won't happen again for another 6 months.
That's right. It's right. So May 2nd.
She did promo it for months here.
Yeah. May 2nd. So be prepared. May 2nd, next Cosmic Yogi Festival. Ken will be doing something. We're never quite sure what, but he will be doing something.
I'd like to do a meditation maybe.
Okay. Ken wants to do a meditation.
All right. So in the meantime, while you were doing that, the only reason I wasn't there is I went to San Francisco and had a good time.
He was in San Fran. How were the fires?
Not affected us. They were north of us and south of us. Pretty bad stuff going on in California. And while I try to stay apolitical about the president, I saw where he said he was going to try to stop FEMA aid to California, but he's going to help Putin with something. And that really started a firestorm of sorts. Not to be punny, but
That was a pretty good pun, though.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
How you suggest that fires in the national forest are the state's fault after years of neglect? I mean, everybody who uses the national forest, and I'm one that does. I have a pass. I have a senior pass. It's a lifetime pass. We all know there are no rangers left in the parks. There are no maintenance crews left in the park. So you can't blame the states. That's all I'm saying. And I'll leave it go at that for now. So hi to everybody who's listening to the show. I see Happy, Jamie, Marcus, Malcolm, Hillary.
Did you have some good fish while you were there?
No, I didn't have any fish while I was there.
Okay. And you're not a vegetarian?
No, but I eat mostly vegetables when I can.
Okay. I know. You have a good diet.
Cajun
I'm not saying you
last
don't.
Night and
I just found it weird because don't people go to San Francisco to get the lobster or something? I don't know. I'm a vegetarian now, but I remember in the day I did. I had fish.
I didn't go to San Francisco for fish. No.
But it's on the ocean.
I went for a wedding.
Isn't it on the ocean?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought everybody on the ocean ate fish. I don't know.
Maybe they do.
Okay.
I was there for a wedding, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know what's.
Okay.
Jamie has a pass too. Senior pass back in the day, $10 for a lifetime. I guess they raised it to 80, maybe. Something.
I think that would be fun. A mutual friend of ours has been to almost every single national park now.
I know some guys that won a contest for. It was a photo contest. They won. These two young guys who travel around a lot, and they won the photo contest.
That's
and
cool.
They got they got a year's pass for the two of them. They got an all expense paid trip for 4 to any national park. So they picked Hawaii. They weren't stupid.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they got the picture they submitted was on the state the national pass for the year.
Very cool.
It was a picture of one of them leaping up in the air, and the other one kind of caught him up in the air at a national park.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was cool. So not, like I said, not to be political, because it didn't start in the Trump administration. It started before that.
I understand.
But they're starving the National Forest Service. They're starving them of rangers. When I started hiking 40 years ago, you could count, if you spent a week Smoky Mountain National Park, you would run into rangers hiking too.
Well, you should. I mean, that's the whole idea.
On everything. And now, no, you don't see that.
Sad. I have a friend.
And if you stop into the visitor center, it may not even be a ranger. It may be a volunteer because they local people are like, well, we need somebody there. I went into in Tucson, I went into the park center and I said, the sign is down. We got lost because the sign. She said, well, tell a ranger. I can't tell you how. Was that a joke? No.
Was she meaning that?
I just work in the visitor center. I don't know if she wore the colors and everything.
Okay.
So
anyway. I have a friend that lives on one of the parks. I don't think it's a national park. That's in Indiana, and they have a house, and he's a forest ranger, and they live on the park, and they take care of the park.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they still do at this point, but they used to.
Less and less so. So let's get on with the show. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know how many of you are first-time viewers.
Oh, yay.
You have more first-time viewers than I do.
Yay.
My people tend to return.
We really don't know why, but they do.
Yeah. But we don't have to know why as long as they do.
They do.
Yeah. So you weren't here last time.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No. I was here last time. It was the time before that.
Oh.
I totally forgot. I was totally screwed up.
So what we want to do, what we want to achieve.
We have a mission?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I have a mission.
Should we hang that up behind us?
AJ's just a good foil for the mission. Yes, I saw that. The Indiana Dunes. Jamie's saying the Indiana Dunes is just north, kind of west or east of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And you go to the big sand dunes.
You're kidding. I didn't know that.
If you live in Chicago, you went to sand dunes.
I didn't know this. Okay.
So it's right on Lake Michigan. Yeah. It's beautiful.
I grew up in the Finger Lakes. I didn't know this.
And anyways, they just made it a national park. But while they did that, they were trying to take away
Right,
a
right.
national park or national forest. But back to the point of the show. The show is so AJ is a
We're not sure what I do. I sit here
yes,
and
but
piss off Ken.
there's a reason why you sit here. In order to do a podcast, you have to be entertaining, you have to be stimulating, and for our purposes, you have to be educational.
Well, it's nice to
We're-
know
we're-
I'm still stimulating after all these years.
Maybe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So well, now I lost my point.
Ah!
So in order to do that, I, as a lawyer of 30-something years,
And 3 different states.
and amongst my many experiences, for me to do a show, I need somebody who can hold their own.
I can hold my own.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I just think you need somebody to ask questions so that the average person can understand what the hell you're saying.
Well, and that's part of holding your own.
There you go.
When I do a trial, it's really critical. You know, people sit in a jury booth, jury box, and there's 12 of them. And
Mhm.
by the time they finish picking jurors, there's 12 of them. Sometimes I get to help pick the jurors, but often the judge doesn't want any help because he's a jerk or she's a jerk.
So that TV show Bull's just crap where they go in.
I
and-
think it's crap.
Okay.
So here's the dilemma. You have 12 people and you really don't know them that well. They have different educational backgrounds. You get a certain amount of information in a juror sheet. Any of
Yes.
you ever served as a juror, they give you a
They
sheet
never pick me.
when you first get in.
How come?
You're just not going to let me. You're just going to be the antithesis of everything I said.
I
you
just
were.
am curious why I never get picked.
I have no clue. I was never there when you were.
Okay, I apologize. I'll shut up for 5. I'll shut up for 1 whole minute.
So you fill out a form when you get there, and it'll ask you typically your occupation, of course, your name, your age. I think they can still ask your age. They may, I don't know. They may ask you your favorite magazines. There's a variety of questions, and they're given to the lawyers in advance. So let's say it's a criminal trial. The prosecutor has everybody's little data sheet. It's not very comprehensive, and I, the defense attorney, will get a copy of it. Now, immediately upon receipt, the prosecutor's office will immediately send it to an investigator who will start running background checks on
Mhm.
everybody, which I can't do. I don't have access to the criminal background
So
check
you can
system.
pay for the service.
No.
Okay.
Why would you assume that? You mean like publicdata.com? I'm talking about the government system. They're
Okay.
accessing the government
Like the
system.
FBI files and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Okay. Okay.
They're immediately finding out whether that anybody in there has lied about having criminal history.
Okay.
Okay, because you have to list whether you have any criminal convictions.
Gotcha.
They're pulling up information.
Mhm.
Just try to stick with me.
I am trying. I'm trying so hard.
You're not trying
I'm
hard.
exhausted
You're not
after the
trying hard.
festival this
You're
weekend.
not trying
I'm
hard.
following. I'm following.
Okay?
I'm following.
So I'm sitting there. I got more than 12. We're going to whittle it down to 12. I may have 40, 50 people. I'm going through these sheets. I'm setting up my own little boxes, where people are seated, who they are, what they are, housewife, whatever, right? Now the judge is asking questions. Sometimes the judge will allow me to ask questions.
Well, in there's TV shows, they always do. That's why I'm like floored. When you first told me this, I was floored. I
Told
didn't
you
know
that
this.
bull was bullshit.
I know, but I
you-
really like that show. So I'm just going to pretend it's real. Go ahead.
Well, he may be in a jury. They may be depicting a jurisdiction where the parties are allowed to voir
Okay.
dire.
Okay.
Okay. Most states, it's discretionary. It's discretionary in federal court.
I didn't know this.
And
Okay.
discretionary means the judge decides if you'll ask any questions.
Okay.
So what typically happens in Illinois, for instance, the judge says, if you have any questions, submit them in writing to me. And I will ask, well, that's not going to help me. Here's what I want to do. I want to say, Amy Jo,
That's me. I'm Amy Jo.
I see that you're married and you have 2 children.
Well, that's not me.
And where do your children go to school, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just trying to mellow things out, right? Well, they're in private school. Oh, so
Right away, you're told something about that person.
yeah. So, hey,
Income level.
and Amy Jo, do you have a library card? No, I don't have a library card. That tells me something about you, right? Yeah, I have a library card. Do you ever actually use it? A lot of people, and I'm trying to make a connection, right? Now, at some point, we're done. I have some choices. I can strike for cause. So, juror number 32 said that he's been a policeman. He just retired, but he was a policeman for 30 years.
Right.
On top of it all, he was a homicide investigator in this homicide case. I don't want him on the jury. Okay, because if he gets in there, you would think, I'm going to imagine that he's going to carry some weight, and being a cop, that's the last thing I need. So I'm going to say to the judge, I want to strike him for cause. You just follow.
No, I'm following.
Okay. The judge says, well, what's the cause? Judge, he was a cop for 30 years.
Can you say that? I mean, like, you can be honest like that?
Yeah.
I thought you had
to have a legitimate reason.
I was assuming you had to come up with some bullshit for it. I really was. I didn't know you could honestly be honest.
No, the judge was in the room.
I know, but I still thought you're gonna. I thought you were gonna have to come up with something else. I didn't know. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say, or he said he couldn't be fair.
Okay.
Something. I have to have a hat to hang the hook on. I mean, a hook to hang the hat on, right? I have to give the judge a reason to go with me.
Gotcha.
Okay. The judge will agree or disagree. If he says struck for cause, the other side will object, or the other side may agree. They may say, yeah, we know you're getting rid of that one.
Right.
But they usually would disagree, as I will with theirs oftentimes. Judge says, I'm going to strike for cause. That juror is gone. They will not be in the final pool. The next step is we've used all our strikes for cause because we've exhausted all the jury pool. We're down to maybe 20 people. We both get 6 peremptory challenges. Peremptory, I don't have to give an excuse.
Oh, okay.
I just have to say, I'm striking juror number.
So you get 6 of those.
8. I'm striking juror number 14. I'm striking juror number 18.
Okay.
And we may both be striking the same jurors, but I am too often. And then they have their strikes, and they don't know who I'm going to strike.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know who they're going to strike.
Really?
We just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it to the judge, and then the judge really doesn't have anything to say about it.
Okay.
Okay. So now I challenge the prosecution periodically because there was a case that went to Supreme Court that said you may not strike a person of color based on the fact that they're a person of color.
Right.
So what
it has to be for another reason.
So the prosecution wants them off the jury anyways because they tend to be,
maybe
they're perceived as being defense sympathetic because they don't like cops because people of color have been jacked around by cops. So they will try to keep a person of color off. This is very common. So the tool in my toolbox, besides fighting as rigorously as I can, keep them on, is to make what's called a Batson challenge. Batson versus Kentucky. And the judge then holds a private hearing where the two sides argue. And what's your problem, Cosell? Well, that's the third black juror.
Right.
The prosecutor's struggling. I don't see any reason for it.
Right.
Peremptory or otherwise, I'm challenging that. And then they have to give a race neutral reason why they struck him, even if it's a peremptory challenge.
Could it be a religious reason? Could they say, oh, because they're Jewish?
No.
I didn't think so, but I thought I'd give it a whirl.
No.
So, it would have to be because they were a school teacher for 15 years and working with the gang kids the whole time. What they do to me all the
time, they'll say, well, she had a nephew who was charged with a crime, so we think she's going to dislike our case. Well, yeah, if the judge allows that, they'll be able to get most of the black people off the jury because most of them do have some relationship to some criminal history. Okay.
Right. So
they will succeed if the judge is that kind of jerk. So, yeah, we're live, Jim. Yeah. So going forward, now we've made all the challenges. At some point, there are 12 jurors sitting in a jury box.
Yes.
And 2 persons who are called alternates. Okay. In case anybody gets sick or something happens, they fall asleep and we say, judge. So, okay, there's 14 people. I've got to present a case. They've got to present a case. Okay. Both sides. The problem for me is I know so little about them.
Right.
I got to ask some questions. I may have some feel for some. I don't like housewives on my juries because they tend to be very sanctimonious, quite frankly. Okay. So I will typically try to get them off one way or another, but maybe I didn't. I'm going to keep an eye on that one, right?
Okay.
So throughout the trial, the point is communication, because you brought it up.
Mhm.
How I have to, you said, I have to ask you questions so that people can understand sometimes what you're talking about.
Right.
So in a trial, that's critical that the jury understand
Right.
what you're talking about.
Well, and I think that's a lot of lawyers' problems as they speak up here.
Oh my
instead of
God! You
coming down
should see
here.
some trials.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no
you're
way.
like, are you serious? I mean, are you that big an idiot?
Well, I think teaching inner city high school, I'm used to having to lower things to be able to get people to understand. So that's why I ask you a lot of questions, because I think
I
sometimes
like to think that I'm.
you do majority of the time, but sometimes there's words you use and things that I know the average person doesn't know.
Jamie's asking who do I like in a jury. We now know I don't like housewives.
Housewives, right?
Yeah.
Bad housewives.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know. Working people, blue collars, good,
Yeah.
typically.
Because you're a criminal lawyer. It depends on what type of lawyer you are, what kind of jury you have.
Yes. So who do you think I would prefer in a criminal case in the jury box? Do you have an idea who I would want to select, or did Bull give you an idea who?
You know, that's a
desirable?
hard question. Would you prefer college educated or non-college educated?
You know, I'm going to tell you, it's really more a process of elimination than inclusion. She's asking a question which is stimulating me to think, you know, I'm really trying to get the worst off, Jamie. I'm not thinking about getting anybody on. I'm like shaking.
Yeah.
Oh, so Jamie's question.
Mhm.
I was doing a murder trial in Chicago one time, and it was a bad case for me. And when I first got the case, I went in to see the judge with the prosecution, and the judge said, "You got a really bad case." And I, yeah, I do, but
Right.
you know, I'm here to fight, man. So he said, "Well, voir dire is going to be really important, so I'm going to let you voir dire." So I'm like, great.
Right.
Okay. So the subject comes up again later on with the prosecution. And I'm heartened because you don't.
He's blowing a gasket.
You don't know how many lawyers
Hey, Julie.
have never learned how to voir dire at all. Some of them will not even ask questions. They won't even ask the judge to allow them to ask questions.
Oh, see, I like that part.
Here's what a judge's
That's the part I'd like.
voir dire sounds like. Okay. Juror number 5. We don't call them by their name.
Right.
They get a number, I think. So it says here that you're a housewife. And have you ever been convicted? It says, just affirming all that, right? So, well, the defendant here is charged with murder, you know. Now, do you think you can be fair and impartial? Yes. Okay. Juror number 6. Whoa. Wait a minute.
You
Go
know
back.
nothing about them.
You know nothing. Of course.
Education.
Who are
nothing.
you going to ask? Are you going to be able to be fair and impartial? And they're going to go, no. I mean, there are people, but
I
get
do that sometimes.
Well, if you
I think that's
say
why I
that,
don't get picked sometimes.
well, if you're doing that, you're being a jerk.
But I don't in some situations.
I don't care.
Okay.
You should be able to sit there and do your civic duty. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about it.
If
When
it's
you
a
sit there
DWI
and say,
case and they've been
if
they've been charged 5 times, I know damn well I'm going to say no. The guy goes to jail. I don't care.
If you sit there and you are incapable of distancing yourself from that kind of personal experience and not listening to the evidence, you are doing a disservice.
I am a disservice.
Well, don't brag about it.
I can't help it. I'm being honest. I don't want to go in with a DWI trial with 5 or 6 things because I think they should go to jail. I think they should be in trouble. I think they should do something. And now they don't do anything to some of these people. And it's like, oh my God.
They do lots of things to these people.
Okay,
So you just introduced something. So you're one of my jurors.
Yeah.
And so right now I think you're a jerk. Because you're sitting there and you've got this idea of, well, they let DUI people off too easy. Whoa. Where did you get that impression? Because almost every state now paralyzes people for DUI from the first offense going forward.
Because I have too many people that I personally know who have gotten 3 and 4 DWIs spread out over 20 years that nothing happens. This is what happens. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah. So she just said people over a 20, 30-year period, people she knows have been in recovery a long time.
Yes. And they keep getting them
repeatedly.
repeatedly.
Nothing to do with today.
Well, it does, because then they get their fourth or fifth DWI today, and they're still getting a slap on the hand.
I
And I
don't know
disagree
who
with
these
that.
people are.
Well, I know I can't share that with you.
Well, I don't know those people, and I'm a lawyer.
Okay, but no, seriously.
I think they're full of shit. I think they're lying to you.
No. I went to court with them and sat there.
When was this?
It was 6 years ago.
What state were you in?
Here,
I don't know what this is.
Waxahachie.
So she's creating a scenario that
Yeah.
is no relationship to what I understand the law in Texas to be or my experience to be.
No, I'm being serious though. This really
I
happened.
believe you're being
Yeah,
serious.
yeah. I sat there and watched it.
People, first off, you can't count 10 years beyond.
So
And I
that's
think
where
it is that.
that's where the
So
situation.
if somebody's had
correct.
2 DUIs in the last 10 years, they're usually going to jail, minimum.
Okay.
Okay. And they're certainly going to have a locking device on their car.
Oh, he did.
There's any number of consequences.
He had a locking device on
Okay.
his car.
They're going to be deprived of a license for anywhere from 30 days to a year. So they're not going to be able to drive.
Mhm.
If they drive, you're going to say, well, they drive anyways. Well, if they're doing that,
Well, no,
they should
but
go
now
get locked
I
up.
like that little camera on the locking device because it shows who is actually blowing into it. I like that.
Okay. But back to why you're sitting in the jury box.
Oh,
And you've
jury
decided
box.
that you can't be fair and impartial and listen to whether the person's even guilty of a DUI. Because you've already decided that when you said, I can't be fair and impartial, you're not saying I don't like DUI offenders. You're saying, I don't like somebody being, I don't even like them because they've been accused.
I just don't think that since I've been in recovery so long that I am the good juror for that case.
And I'm asking you why.
I just don't feel like I would be.
Oh, man.
I really seriously don't.
But you won't say why.
Well, I said why, but you didn't like my answer.
No, you said because they had 30, 40
No,
years. Now
because I
now
said-
we've narrowed it down. Now,
Well,
and we're
because
also
I
not
don't
talking-
feel like I can be.
You're not concerned with punishment. When I asked you as a juror, can you be a fair and impartial? I'm asking you, can you listen to the evidence as to whether somebody committed an offense? So you've jumped to punishment.
Yes, because that's where my head goes.
Right. But you're sitting in a jury box. Why isn't your head in the game?
Because that's where my head goes. I think that a lot of people sitting in the jury box, their head goes there. You never realize this? Am I freaking you out right now? a little
Well,
bit?
you know what?
No, but I'm being honest.
I've quit practicing law for the most part because of you.
Yeah, okay. But
I mean, because
seriously,
people like
because
you are.
I think the majority of people sitting in that jury box head automatically goes to the punishment. And I'm not saying that
And if they
when
do,
I'm sitting
if
in
they
there.
do, they're fucking the system.
Yeah. So
Do you
I think
understand why I say to you
No,
with
can I-
hostility?
can I
Why
share?
don't you sit there and do what you're asked to do?
Well, I
Why
think
do
then
do
you
what
have to
want
sit
do?
there. No, you're not listening to what I'm saying now.
Did listen.
No, because you're twisting it around. So my head immediately goes to the thing, to the.
But wait, but the judge will instruct you.
I understand. Now, can I finish what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
That doesn't mean if I'm on the jury that I wouldn't listen to the case and maybe go against what I thought from the beginning. However, if you don't think that people's heads automatically goes to the sentencing who is sitting in the jury, a lot of people's do. I'm sorry.
No, I know that.
Okay.
How did you miss that in the first?
How did you miss
20s,
that? I was saying that too.
No, you weren't saying that.
Yes, I really was.
No,
I was
you
saying
said
my
I
head
won't
goes.
be able to sit there and hear the
I don't
evidence.
really think I would be a good person for the jury. I'm being honest. I just don't think I'd be a good person for that
Yeah,
jury.
Jamie's right. Each
Mhm.
each case is a whole new story,
Yes.
but
It is, and a lot of different cases. So when I was down there, the kid in front of me, he got sent off to jail, and this guy who had connections got, and this was like his 5th DWI. He got a slap on the wrist, and he got a thing on his car for a year, and I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and I
I'm not-
disagreed with
we're
it.
not responsible for plea bargains.
No, I
So you
said it
just
was
jumped to
ridiculous.
another.
Well, I
another
can't.
scenario.
Yeah, but this is what I witnessed, and it really upset me.
I know, but I'm trying to create a scenario and get you to stay there,
Okay,
and you just won't.
okay.
The scenario is a jury trial.
Jury trial. I'm sitting in the
Evidence to be
jury.
determined.
I'm going to be fair.
Evidence to be determined. You follow me?
Yeah, I'm following you.
What you were talking about is people pled. One guy got.
No, I don't know if he really pled. There were juries there and everything.
There were juries in the case, and they got different sentences.
Yes. One
How
went
did you happen to
first.
be there for 2 jury trials?
I sat there. They had him in the same day. His was after the other guys.
But you weren't on the jury.
No,
How do you know the outcome? That's unusual.
because I was sitting there. They did it right away. I mean, like I was
But
sitting
usually
there.
when they excuse you from
No,
jury
I'm
duty,
following what
you
you're
leave.
saying. But I'm telling you, they did it. They did it quick.
They had
and
a trial. And you
Yeah.
stayed for the trial.
Yeah, it
even
was
though they
very quick.
excused you.
I think that what happened was I came at the end of one, and then they said the guy's sentence, and then the next trial started with a different jury pool. I think that's what happened, because the one guy got, and he was a young kid, and he was all by himself, and I felt so bad for him. And he was gone. And then this guy who had more DWIs, but was connected. I don't know. Maybe it was a plea bargain. I just didn't realize it.
Well, a jury trial means that there were jurors.
Yeah, no, I know. But
And
the
that-
first one there was. I thought he had a jury trial too,
And
but
they
now
were
you got me
presenting
wondering.
evidence.
But now you got me wondering.
And
Because it was a long time ago.
if a DUI, so 2 DUIs show up in court back
Mhm.
to back,
Mm-hmm.
one may have involved injury, the other did.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Well, you weren't there for the first trial. You say you came in towards the
Well,
end.
I wouldn't talk to the kid.
You
I
went
sat
and talked
next
to
to
him,
him.
the defendant,
Mm-hmm. I sat next to him, and they let me.
and they let you talk to him.
Yeah, it was after the hearing and everything, and they sat him down. And he was waiting to be taken away. So I just went over and sat down next to him and talked.
And what
to
did
him.
you say? I'm curious.
I just said, "Hey, I've been sober for a long time, and I know that you've been, there's going to be AA meetings in prison, and I really hope that you go. And
And he
Tell
said,
me
I
about
didn't
the
hurt
thing.
anybody.
no." Then we started talking, and he said, "Well, this is what happened." And he told me
No,
the story.
Julie, I can take her honesty. That's not the issue.
Yeah,
The
Julia, I don't
issue
think
is
you
that
have.
we've got this system, and if people take this position that you've staked out,
Mhm.
and you're not alone
Oh,
by
yeah,
any
yeah,
means,
yeah. I know.
it cripples the system.
Okay.
It means that the guy who maybe should have been exonerated because he needed 12 impartial jurors didn't get that opportunity.
Well, I mean, I would hope if I had to be in that situation that possibly I could be.
Well, you won't be in that situation as long as you keep saying,
Well, in a DWI thing,
Won't
I
be.
don't believe I could. I have a different issues. That's just my opinion.
yeah, and I'm sitting here, I'm trying to process why somebody would prejudge anything. I mean,
It's not prejudging. I don't believe that. I think it's from my own personal experience is where that comes from. It's not prejudging someone else. It's my personal experience.
so let me
So my
ask you
personal
this.
experience influences.
So Miss
what's
Jurd,
happening.
Miss Jurd, let me ask you this,
Mhm.
because you've said you don't think you'd be fair and impartial. So, do you believe that the defendant, is it your belief now that this defendant, I wouldn't call him defendant, I'd call him by his name. Do you believe that John is guilty?
I have no
already?
idea.
Okay, so you have no idea. So, what would help you determine whether he was guilty or innocent, or guilty or not guilty? What
Well, I'd
would
have
help
to hear
you?
the case.
So would evidence help you?
Well, yeah, and you can go through all this, Ken, and everything, but you're still omitting that my background and my personal experience is going to affect
See how,
my
see how you
opinion.
just dug in?
But I'm
They ain't
serious.
letting me. So
But you
it's
see,
interesting. No,
Yeah.
I'm finding it interesting.
yeah, because my
I'm-
personal experience would affect that, and I'm sorry, but it would.
Well, you said you thought you could hear the evidence, but then you just now shifted and went
Well,
back
because
to,
I feel
I can't hear the evidence.
Well, you're going to go through this whole thing and da 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 da.
Yeah, why
and
wouldn't I
okay,
go through it?
yeah, that's skewed, and I'm just saying I don't know personally if I could be. I don't know. I don't have
Okay,
a clue.
but you understand. You did tell me a moment ago. I guess if I was picked, I would.
Well,
do
if
it.
I was chosen, I would try,
Yeah. So.
but I have no idea if I'd be able to do it. I would hope, but I don't know.
So if you're listening, so I started to voir dire her and she bailed on me. And I understand she's not in court. I would have used her to explain and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use her as an example to the other jurors. I'm using you
I'm
to
following you.
educate the other jurors.
I'm following you.
So they're sitting there, they're having the same discussion in their head.
Yes. Well, that was my point too.
And so by talking to them, by talking to you, hopefully they're paying attention, understand that, in fairness, nobody can make this decision about guilt or innocence until
They've
the
heard-
evidence has been presented. Because people do tend to believe police officers, for instance. That's a prejudice. Well, he's a police officer. He's a good guy. But police officers are good guys, right? Now, a lot of cases I got, the cop is not a good guy.
Mhm.
He's done something bad. He may even be a good guy, but he's done something bad. He's doctored the evidence.
Right.
He didn't cross his T's, dot his I's like he was supposed to, like he was trained to. So I would use you before I dismissed you,
Mhm.
because you don't want to run from the bad answer. If you run from the bad answer, you're going to get stymied every time.
Mhm.
So when somebody says, "Yeah, I don't think I can be fair and impartial," my job as voir dire is to now either one, try to rehabilitate you, because I think in the end you'll be good because you're college educated.
That was one of my questions. Do you
You're
prefer college
progressive.
education
You're
or not?
liberal. Well, it depends upon the case.
Okay.
I want somebody that can discern what's being shared.
Okay, I'm following you. Yeah.
So I may, the
Is it-
evidence may be more complicated than some cases.
Gotcha.
I may be going to make a big argument about the breathalyzer. So the breathalyzer usually is technical stuff.
Right.
Okay. If I'm going to challenge the breathalyzer, now usually I challenge the breathalyzer before the trial. We have what's called a hearing to suppress the evidence. So I'm going to argue to suppress the breathalyzer because I feel that the breathalyzer machine was not properly calibrated.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll do that before the trial. But at the same time, I may want you to, I may want to present evidence that breathalyzers, this police officer somehow was fudging.
Okay.
For instance, you can blow into a breathalyzer and there's certain basics. You don't want to be chewing gum or something.
There's a
just
couple
before.
different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to burp. The guy was
Yeah.
drunk, wasn't he? I understand he was having difficulty. Did you know he had esophageal hernia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what happens when somebody who has esophageal hernia burps? Drinks alcohol?
Right.
Did you know they have a propensity to burp? Yeah, I never heard that before. Yeah, well, I just threw that shit in there. Anyway.
They always said, I remember this. So they said to have nail polish in your car and swish it around in your mouth before the breathalyzer test, and that would screw it up.
Nail polish.
That's what
in
nail
your
polish
mouth?
remover.
Wouldn't that be toxic?
I don't
to
know.
you?
I never did it. I'm just,
Yeah.
that's what they used to say. I wonder if that would
Here's
screw it
the
up.
best thing is don't drink it dry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, but people get in
Of
trouble.
course. People get in trouble for drinking and driving all the time.
So the anatomy of the trial. So back to our original discussion is to communicate
What was it again?
clearly.
Communicate clearly is very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said one of my jobs is try to make sure that you think I'm communicating clearly.
Yeah. And
Today you're not doing that. Today you're just screwing with me. But you're
I'm not
one
screwing with
of the
you.
roles. What glitches did we have? Glad you guys fixed the
Glitches, seriously? The internet wasn't working for weeks. It was always screwing up on my side.
Oh, so I didn't know that was what the reference was.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what the reference is.
So
Unless you're the glitch.
so
Maybe I'm the
communication.
glitch.
You got to work with the lowest common denominator at trial and now.
Mhm.
Both require that you work to what you think may be the person listening to the show as you would in a trial. So I try, whether I succeed or not, to always try to explain these legal concepts in a way I hope that anybody can understand, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you try to break it down into pieces and build up. It's hard sometimes with AJ because she'll let you put in one piece and then she'll take you down that dark alley before you can come back. Okay. So, but that's my intent is to building blocks a lot of times because you and I have talked about a lot of legal issues where we had to go. Here's the, maybe one day we'll talk about what is a motion to suppress because it's really critical in most trials because there's almost always evidence that I don't want coming in as the
Sure.
defense. Admissions of guilt, I usually will try to keep out. Well, one of the ways I do that is You coerced it. Well, I did a murder trial, and the kid was in custody for,
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. He was young too. How old was
yes,
he?
he was 19,
Yeah.
and he's arrested, and he goes to the police station with homicide, and it's a big case. It's a big case, and he's sitting there, and this homicide officer talks to him. He makes no admission, takes him for
Lie detector?
thank you.
Hmm.
Ah,
That's lie detector. Ken and I got sign language.
pays him
Yeah.
for a lie detector, and it's inconclusive. It's always inconclusive, or he lied. It's never, yeah, he's telling the truth,
Right.
right?
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I've never seen one where it said, yeah, he's being honest. So it says inconclusive. They bring him back to the station. He gets arrested at 10 in the morning. It's now 5 p.m., changing of the guard. Homicide detective goes home. Been a homicide detective 16 years. Black man, black kid.
Mhm.
White homicide officer walks in at 5:15, announces to the prosecution, calls them up. I got a confession in 15 minutes. Okay. At 5:30 in the morning, they record his confession. The state's attorney, district attorney in Texas, a state's attorney in Illinois, goes down to the station when she has time, and she interviews him. And, did you do it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we're going to put this all in writing. Now, they don't let him write, they write. And then she goes over with him and makes him sign a 5-page confession. So I don't want that coming in, right?
Right.
So I put on a motion to suppress it. On what grounds? Well, I think, first off, it's coerced. I'm pretty sure because they said to him, I asked the kid, why would you sign a 5-page confession to a
Right.
murder? He said, they told me I couldn't go home until I did it.
Right.
19 years old, he wants to go home. So they refused to take out the confession. So what I had to do was, so the officer took the stand first. And I'm like, so how long you been a homicide
Right.
detective? 5 years. Yeah. Did you know the officer before you, the homicide detective? 16 years. Mm-hmm. And he spent the whole day with them, and the guy didn't say anything, right? Yeah. But you walked in and tell me, how did that go again? Oh, I asked him some questions and he answered. He told you
Right.
he did it. Okay. And then 12 hours later, you guys wrote it down. How many times did you let him go to the bathroom? Oh, anytime he wanted to. How many times did he eat? Oh, he ate. Yeah. What did he eat? I ate hamburgers. I bought him hamburgers when I went to get dinner. Oh, did you pay for it? Yeah, I paid for it. Did you keep a receipt? No, I paid for it myself. Now, anybody knows Chicago cops
Are going to pay for a hamburger.
They ain't paying for a hamburger for a murder defendant, right? A suspect. So, and I say, so, okay. So, did you ask him where the gun was? Yeah, because I got the sheet. I know what the confession says. It says what kind of gun. Says how many bullets it get me out, all kinds of info,
Right.
but not where it is. Well, he was cooperating. Yeah. So why wouldn't you ask him where the gun is? I must have forgot. How about the clothes he was wearing? Because they'll have powder, right?
Right.
Gunfire residue. Did you get the clothes? Yeah, no, I didn't get the clothes. So he gets off the
Wow.
stand, and this woman takes the stand. She's now a U.S. attorney, deputy U.S. attorney. They make sure to say that. She was formerly a state attorney, but who do you work for now, ma'am? I work for the United States of America, the government of the United States of America. And what do? I am a prosecutor. I am an assistant district. I'm assistant U.S. attorney.
I can picture this.
She's all like, they're pumping up her creds, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So they get her, oh yeah, confessional. Excuse me, ma'am, my turn now, right? So, how long had the kid been there when you got there? I don't remember. I said, well, if I told you he'd been sitting there for 18 hours, would that influence how you think? Oh, no, he was very cooperative. Oh, no, he seemed fine. Yeah, you asked him if he was feeling fine. Yeah. Did you offer him? She said, yeah, he smoked a cigarette, and they offered him a cigarette, went to the bathroom, and then I'm like, so I tore into her, where's the gun?
Right.
Where's the clothes? She couldn't answer. Then I put the football coach on. how do you know? Well, sports
Right.
comes to the park, he plays sports, you know. So how many cigarettes do you see him smoke? Kid doesn't smoke
Right.
cigarettes.
Right.
He's an
That-
athlete.
yeah.
Yeah. So I won the case, but they should have never even let the confession in.
Right.
It was so tainted. But judges tend to lean towards letting something in and letting you fight about it.
But this is, I mean, I understand the kid was under duress and had been sitting there for so long, but oh my God, how could you, and people, this is how people always think, how could he say he did it and think that they were actually going to let him go home?
So we go to the jail. I got hired 3 years after he was in jail. You may recall. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom finally got enough money to hire a lawyer.
Right.
So they hired me, and I go to the jail to interview him. And here was my take on it. This kid had been sitting at 3 years in the Cook County Jail, and he presented quite well. Nice kid. He'd been in boarding school. He'd only been home for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
He had been in boarding school in
That's such a
Mississippi,
shame.
where his mother sent him to keep him out of gangs.
Wow.
Then he was accused of murder in a gang shooting, right? Well, luckily, I knew that the guy that died was, did I ever tell you this? He was the brother of the leading gangster disciple in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Gangster disciples are the second biggest gang in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
If you kill the brother of the leader of the gangster disciples and go to jail, what is the logical conclusion?
You will die.
How will you die?
By gang violence. They're going to put you down.
In the jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Nowhere to run.
Right.
Nowhere to hide.
Right.
They'll throw you off a tier. They'll
Right.
stick knife.
But he
in
didn't
you.
do it, and he was still alive.
Right. He'd
Right.
been there 3 years. And I said to him, and I've got you with me, by the
Right.
way. You're co-counsel.
Right.
You were hired first. You brought me in, and you're sitting there listening. I'm like, how many times have the gangster disciples beat? Are there any gangster disciples in jail? Yeah. How many times have you been beat up? I haven't been beat up, sir. Oh, okay. So we walk out of the jail.
Right. You
And
go, he didn't do it.
I say he didn't do it, and you said, what do you mean? He didn't do it? He said 5 days ago. Why would somebody do that? I said, I assume he did it because he said he did it. He said he did it so he could go home, but he didn't do it. Well, how do you know he didn't do it? Because he's alive.
Yeah, because he's alive.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I actually tried to talk to the head of the gangster disciples, and I was told to mind my own business. I was hoping they would say, yeah. And I called a friend of mine who knew the family, and I called him up, and his name doesn't matter what his name is. I said, I'm representing this kid who shot Howard. That was the victim's name. And there were 5 other people shot, but Howard's the only one that died. I'm representing Howard. He said, what do you mean you're representing the guy that shot Howard? I said, yeah, this kid, he's going to go to trial in a week. He's like, whoever shot Howard, long dead.
Right.
Years ago. And I'm like, well, what did you hear? He said, well, I heard they shot him, set him on fire, and threw him on the highway.
Okay.
I said, well, there's this kid. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, but the streets say this is long concluded. So he's the one that went and tried to talk to the brother and say, this guy's representing this kid. He's maybe you can help him. He came back and said, go screw yourself.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so that's the kind of thing. I did motion suppress, another identification. They do the lineups, and you and I
Right.
talked about he was the only one without a shirt in the lineup.
Right.
It's supposed to be,
Even.
it's
Equal.
supposed to be of equal height,
Right.
same hair color. If you put a blonde guy in, like if you were in a lineup, say,
Obviously,
we're
I'm not
accusing
going to.
you,
Yeah. Right.
and the other 4 dark haired,
Right. Right.
and then they point at you and, well, yeah, they pointed at so, but they said it was a blonde woman. The other 4 people were dark haired. So you have to have pictures. They have to take a picture of the lineup, and then they have to show it. If they use photos, which they do sometimes, so instead of bringing you in, they'll pull your mugshot from a previous arrest. Could be 20 years ago.
Oh, but that could be interesting on mine.
Literally, they used one of mine that was got to be at least 10 years old. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I got picked out.
I was about 24. I didn't have hair and I had a nose
So
ring.
if you were accused of something today, it would not be unusual for them to go in, look up the data, find that there was a photo
Right.
of you, and pull that photo. And if they couldn't, for expeditious reasons, whatever, they might take your picture and 4 other pictures. Do you see anybody in there that looks like who did it? and then they pick up your picture. It
Right.
doesn't even look like you look today.
Right,
You're
right.
getting arrested. At least
Wow.
that's my personal experience. And when I say my personal experience, I mean literally, I got arrested on that basis. And they're like, well, we did a photo lineup and she picked you out. Luckily, they then put me in a live lineup. After they arrested me, they put me in a live lineup and I wasn't picked out in the live lineup. So, anyways, that had nothing to do with any of the stuff we were going to talk about
Oh,
tonight.
well.
You know, I didn't even know what to do after. I'm so wired. You pushed every
I
freaking
know.
button.
That's my job.
Well, that's not your job.
It is my job.
No. So
A little bit.
it's really important because here's something everybody listening to the show has experienced. Somebody you know or yourself received a jury duty request, or summons they call it. And the first question you asked is, how do I get out of it?
Yes, but in all fairness, I've never answered that way on jury. I've answered the way I'm supposed to answer, and I still never get picked. So why don't I ever get picked? Masters in business,
'Cause
entrepreneur.
you were a teacher.
I
weren't
was
you?
a teacher,
Well,
gang kids.
If I was a prosecutor,
you wouldn't want me
I probably wouldn't want you.
because I know the gang kids and love them. Yeah,
That would be a concern.
yeah,
Yeah,
It
I'd
would
rather
be
have
a-
a housewife than you on a gang crimes
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, it's so important to have people of color on a jury where a person who's a person of color is
Mhm.
on trial.
absolutely.
And people don't understand. They say, well, but they could all be fair and impartial. There's this whole thing, and there's studies done that you have to understand something about the community. And
Right.
and originally,
Huge.
the Constitution actually says that it's a jury of your peers. And so now we say a jury of your peers is voters in your county.
Right, right, right.
Even though you may live in the inner city and live by a whole different set of rules.
Right.
You know, I did maybe we talked about it. I can't remember yesterday. So I do a case in Cook County, a juvenile who found a gun,
Mm-hmm.
discharged the gun, put the gun away, went to an apartment, Christmas Eve, something comes up, they what's that?
I don't know.
Was there alarms going off?
Is it an Amber Alert? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea. There might be. So what happens is he goes into an apartment with some other kids, all teenagers, and yes, we did talk about it. As a thing of fascination, they go get the gun to
Mhm.
bring into the apartment. My client took the magazine out
But
of
there was still a
the
bullet in
gun,
it.
but there was a
Okay.
bullet.
Mhm.
And when he went to hand the gun to another kid, the gun discharged and shot a boy in the center.
Mhm.
No dispute. There was no
Right.
acrimony, no accusation, any of that. So the judge, in convicting him, you get no jury in a juvenile case in Illinois, says that he finds it manslaughter because it was reckless conduct to even bring a gun into an apartment with other kids.
Okay.
Stacia,
It's an Amber Alert. It could be from my phone. I don't know. But go ahead.
no, your phone's not making noises. So, and I went up to the judge and I'm like, really? I said, when I was 15, if I'd have found a gun, you betcha I'd have been showing it to everybody.
Right.
He couldn't relate.
Right.
Couldn't relate. And another time I had a gun case and my client, again, the judge, and these were always
Well, and I was used
These
to
were-
having guns at school. It was common knowledge. I knew the kids sitting there in the seats had guns. I mean, I knew it.
well, in Chicago, there's
You know?
metal detectors.
Well, yeah, but the metal detectors were never turned on.
Oh,
People, Dallas ISD schools, half the time the metal detectors are on. The only reason they're there is to make the community feel safer, and
why
they
would-
don't
why would
work.
they have them on if
And
they're-
so then the portables are outside, and the kids have to go inside in the morning, okay, and be checked while the metal detectors are on. Then they turn them off during the day so that the kids can go freely between the portables and inside the school. So just letting you know, it's a crap that you think the metal detectors are working in these schools. There is no way to be able to get hundreds and hundreds of kids from the portables back into the school in between classes. It just doesn't happen. So as a result, the portables, the portables, the people out there are not checked, and then they go freely through there, or they put the gun in their car, they go to the gun. Anyway, guns in inner city schools. And if y'all don't think there is, y'all are fooling yourselves. Okay. They put the metal detectors up there so everybody feels more safe in their community when it's a crock of crap. Just letting y'all know. Sorry. Sorry to let y'all know.
Well, another thing they did in Chicago is they put the gun on a windowsill, go in through security, and then go into the classroom and go and get the gun out of the windowsill. But my point is that to implicate or to adjudicate somebody whose lifestyle you have no familiarity with. The judges in these cases were white middle-class judges, and they were passing judgment on persons who lived in an environment where violence was pretty everyday. And in these cases, the persons with the gun were not committing crimes with the gun necessarily, right? It was possession of the gun, or the gun was introduced into a confrontation, a violent confrontation. And then the judge would say, well, for you to even have a gun, to me is reckless conduct. You're like, seriously? You know, I've gone up to judges and told them off the record, dude, I carried, you know, I mean, illegally.
Right.
I've been convicted of carrying illegally, actually. It's one of my claims to fame.
He's joking, people. It's not a claim to fame.
No, but I'm not joking about that I haven't been convicted.
No, I understand.
Yeah, unlawful use of a weapon. I
just X out of it. But you know, teaching inner city completely changes. 15 years, y'all, completely changes your perspective on things. You know, these kids have truckloads of guns. This is part of their life, and I mean, it's just what they grew up with.
All kids in the inner city don't have guns.
No, but a lot do.
Gang kids do.
Yes.
For the most part. And some kids do in defense of gang kids.
A lot do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true, but they're going to need them when the revolution comes. So, Viva la Raza, baby. Viva la Raza, you know, because the revolution. Viva la revolution. Coming.
I said it funny. I said it wrong. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Well, it's coming because.
Viva la huelga. Let's live the strike for Cesar Chavez. Viva la huelga. Okay. Strike.
Power to the people.
Yeah.
So a revolution is coming. If you follow my blog.
Oh my God.
You know, on WordPress, Ken Goldberg, I think it's just called Law and Disorder. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, didn't they just arrest some guy?
What's that say? I can't see.
But it won't be televised. The revolution will be live. I wish I could play that, Jamie, on the air, but it turns out if you're using YouTube as a a repository for your show, your videos, if you use any music that you don't have already secured the rights to,
they kick you off. We told Ken this at the beginning. He didn't listen.
They blank you out. So I did a little snippet one day, and I got a nasty letter from YouTube. So I would love to play that. There's so much music. One other thing about doing radio is, of course, every radio station pays for rights to broadcast music, so they broadcast it freely.
So you can use whatever you want.
I could pick anything I wanted and play it. So the opening to the Sopranos was a great little thing. Cool. I used it for my opening.
You know, KNON building down there, Royal and
I don't know where they are. But I know
well, they're at Royal and 75. Their building there completely gone.
Oh,
destroyed. It was right by the J. That whole area that got hit so badly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that building, they're going to have to rip it down.
Are they on the...
They're on, if you're going south on the access road before you get to Royal.
Jamie, I can't use my computer to look up exactly. If you could just type in the name of the song and the artist, that would be great. It wasn't Gil Scott-Heron. It might have been The Last Poets. She's saying, why don't I tell the audience?
Oh,
the song.
Maybe she'll
remember. The revolution will not be live. The revolution will be live. The revolution will not be televised. Gil Scott-Heron. Okay, so Gil Scott-Heron.
Something smells good.
Yeah.
Pizza. Oh, it's the pizza.
Yeah. So Gil Scott-Heron recorded that. It was great. He did a lot of great revolutionary songs. You know, he did South Africa, I think it was called, In the Bottle. You know who Gil Scott-Heron was?
No.
Oh, you need to check him
Okay,
out.
we'll check him out
He
tonight.
passed away. He may have passed away.
Well, now I'm
probably,
sad.
Yeah. But his
Okay.
his music lives on.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry we didn't get to a single article that I researched and was prepared to introduce.
Yeah.
And I apologize if I wasn't, if we, not me, if we didn't communicate in a civil and entertaining fashion.
I think it was very entertaining.
Despite the fact that AJ kept saying, "You're not listening to me." I was listening to her. Much to my chagrin, actually, I was listening to her.
He didn't like what he was hearing.
No, I really
Even the
didn't.
audience was saying
I
that
didn't
Ken didn't like AJ's honesty.
It's not your honesty. I don't like your thought process.
I can't help it.
And
I could have just sat
so wait a
there.
second. Before the show ends, I said most people get I can't publish. Well, yeah, okay. So so that won't go out to anybody except Facebook people. That won't show up in YouTube.
Okay,
So that link.
that is correct.
Right. So I said people get a summons, and the first question people say to me is, "How do I get out of this?" My response is, "You don't get out of it.
Mhm.
You go down. You do the right thing. You sit there. You answer the questions honestly, and you make an attempt to serve because." Usually the people that are talking to me are friends.
Right.
They're bright people. They should be on juries. I'm not interested in their excuses. I don't have time, whatever. You know what? I mean, people don't have time to be locked up either. People don't have time to be locked up and tucked away in jail cells for a year waiting for a trial.
No, that's
so
bullshit.
you need to be able to make some time. You need to be able to make 5 days available to listen to the evidence because there's only 12 people in any courtroom where there is a jury trial, just on jury trial. There's only 12 people that take an oath to listen to the evidence and render a verdict. Everybody else is just an armchair juror. So when when you're watching a trial on TV or you're reading about it, you're an armchair juror, right?
Right. So you're not hearing all the evidence.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on really in the case.
You
I
don't know
get that.
You don't know what the sidebars
Absolutely.
are. And you're saying, "Oh, how could the jury do that?"
I understand.
Well, they did it because 12 people with an average, I think, of 500 years experience I've talked about are sitting there listening to it. Do we want to trust them? Why don't I trust the judge? Because he's one guy with all his prejudices.
Yeah.
There's nobody to rebut him. So, but a lot of people will choose to have the judge do it for any variety of reasons. I actually had a client who chose the judge over my objection, and we won. It was my first murder case, and he said, "I think this judge is being fair." I'd asked around about him,
Right.
and people said he was a former public offender, and he was kind of
Right.
progressively liberal at one time in his life. But no, don't let him hear a gang case.
Gotcha.
He doesn't like gang. He's like you with DUI cases.
Mhm.
So he wouldn't let me pick a jury in the case. So my first murder was a judge. It was, oh my God. And by the skin of our hairy chin, what is the skin? Hair of my chinny chin.
That's it. You get it.
We got a not guilty. But I didn't like a lot of what the judge said in his summation. So sometimes it happens.
Joel went down for jury trial and he he got confused. But anyway, he was part of he was supposed to be in the pool for the Amber Geiger case. And they said that there were thousands of people that they were looking at for that. Could that be true?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't understand what happened, but he ended up that he was switched to another date. But because he was down there.
So the day that the Amber Geiger jury was to be selected, they probably called in an extra couple of hundred.
Well, they said that
day.
it was. They said it was a couple days.
They can't do 1,000 because there's no room.
Okay, I'm just telling you what he came back
they
and
may have
said.
had to bring in 100 a day.
Yeah, well, they said it was a few days.
Yeah.
Right. They said it was a
So
few days.
You had to, because there was so much prejudicial information. You just didn't know. You can't bring in 40 people for Amber because there was going to be so much prejudice on both sides. You had to anticipate. So in high profile heater cases, you'll often have a lot more jurors that will come in. But at the end of the day, they're numbered. And so if you're one of the first ones sitting in the box, you're probably, I think, I think they put them in. Maybe they put them in random in the chairs,
Mhm.
but there's an order on
Gotcha.
my page,
Mhm.
and it's not just completely random. And yes, so they'll tell the clerk of the court who's responsible for jurors. They'll say we're going to be picking the Amber trial on Tuesday, Wednesday,
right.
Thursday, so you need to be prepared, and they'll send out extra summons
Gotcha.
because they don't want to run out in the middle of the day and have to start.
No,
You
yeah.
know, well, sorry, we're going to see you tomorrow, everybody.
I think what happened was he went down there and he was there the wrong day. And then he was grateful he was there the wrong day because he didn't really want to be on that trial in particular. I think that would be a tough
Again,
one.
everybody's just got their ideas of which trials they ought to do. It's frustrating.
In all fairness, he probably would have been great at it because I feel like he would have been very fair.
I was a criminal defense lawyer. It's frustrating to hear people for 30 something years explain to me why they shouldn't be there. Erin says, you know, she just had a jury trial on, she's interested in voir dire. By the way, I was trained in voir dire by Jerry Spence, who does a magnificent job. Jerry Spence was the primo lawyer of his time. He's about 85, 87 now. He's not really active, but brilliant man. And I studied with him for an entire summer, literally 30 days nonstop on jury trials. And then I studied with them 2 more summers for 2 months to 4 weeks. And he's the one that taught me never run from the Amy Jo.
Right.
Let the Amy Jo, either rehabilitate her, because if you can, she's going to be helpful. If you can't, use her so other people understand that, okay, why is she like that? Why should you be more open-minded? By listening to you say, well, maybe they're seeing, they're going, well, that's not right. I don't think that's right. I don't think you should.
There you
go. And so you use that because the judge isn't going to educate jurors.
Right.
And so up until then, we typically ran from, by Jamie, you typically ran from a bad answer. Lawyers don't want the bad answer out there.
Right.
Because
if you don't know the answer, you're not supposed to ask a question, isn't that right?
Well, that's part of it. But in a voir dire, it's not so much that it's, you got a bad answer. I think anybody who's accused of a violent offense is probably a criminal.
Right.
It's probably not the first time they attack somebody.
I see.
Whatever. You get a bad answer, and it's sitting there in this group of people, and you get kind of panicked. You're like,
right.
So your tendency is, okay, let me move along.
But you keep asking her the question.
Yeah.
To prove why she got that prejudice.
How did you come to do that? Do you understand that, there's something called evidence, and that, the police officer is just another person who's subject to mistakes.
Right.
Because anything is based upon observation, my own observation. Right. By the way, I helped write a book. I did some of the research on eyewitness testimony.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in law school.
That would be a good show talking about that because it's really interesting.
Yeah, but it's been too long. But the crux of it was my instructor, Professor Michael Sang at the John Marshall Law School. Studies show that eyewitness testimony is not reliable.
Right.
People tend to think it's the most reliable.
And it's not. That's what I'm saying. I think it's,
Yeah. So, well, we've gone over. So listen, I'm going to be at our yoga class next Monday at 11 a.m. at the Sun Yoga Center. Join us. AJ does a really good Hatha Kundalini breath, Hatha yoga class.
I'm so impressed that you just said that. I'm impressed, people.
She does a really good yoga class Mondays at 11 a.m. at Sun Yoga in Richardson.
And then we go to lunch.
And then we go to lunch, and you're all welcome to go to lunch with us as well. So she does that. Bye, Rosie. And then, in 6 months, we'll have another Cosmic Yogi Festival, and that'll be cool. I hope to be here for that one. I will be teaching meditation tomorrow night at 8484 Stoltz Road in Dallas, Texas. That's the
a lot of trees still there.
What, Dallas? Huh?
A lot of trees all still up on the road there. It's pretty bad. Be careful.
Yeah, but I had a meditation before I even left.
I know you did. They picked up some of them, but
well,
they're trying.
I'll tell you that the trees on the property are stripped pretty badly
yeah,
after
they're
the last two.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to be teaching it tomorrow night.
Yay.
And you don't have to come to learn. You can just come to participate, really.
Close your eyes, sit there in silence.
Yeah. So we're back. We weren't on last Tuesday. We were. I left on Wednesday. So we didn't miss a week.
No, we
Okay.
didn't miss a week. I thought we were missing this week, but then
Thank you for
yeah.
those of you that enjoyed
Hey,
the
Bubba.
show. Leah from Sacred Space says,
Oh, hey, Leah.
says, loved your Cosmic Yogi Fest.
Thank you, baby.
Why give a shout out to her?
Because Leah loves me. She loves me. See, that's how it works. Us yogi women stick together. That's how.
Well, you
how it
know,
works.
what's wrong with this Cosmic Yogi man?
Right. No, we're just gonna stick with each other right now, Leah and I.
That is so prejudiced.
Yeah, okay.
That is so
It's just, you know,
discriminating.
That's why you shouldn't put me on a trial.
You know,
Oh,
struck-
pobrecito.
both you are struck from the jury. You know, I noticed that people give you a shout out all the time.
And they like me. Maybe we need to look at what's going on here. They like me. We
Notice,
love you
notice
too,
you're
Kat.
laughing at me. You're not laughing with me.
We love
you know,
you too,
you know
Kat.
you're not laughing.
We love
with
you.
me.
We love you. Because you're not laughing.
Yes.
You know they love you. It's because I'm a girl.
Kathy loves me, but she's known me since she was about
So she sort of has to because
14,
she's
15
family,
years
sort
old.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's-
yeah.
we went-
I love them too, Kathy.
You
We
know.
all love Ken.
So, but more of you should like hang out and watch the show. You know what? Just tell people to go to YouTube and listen
Yeah.
to Ken Goldberg's Lawn Disorder with his co-host AJ. And I'm gonna beat her senseless after this show is over.
I'm just, he loves it when I cause controversy.
No, actually, I wasn't thrilled today with. I mean, it could have worked. You could have been my obnoxious juror.
I
But you got snitty and said, "Hey, you're not listening to me." You know, you wouldn't do that in the jury box.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd see your band. You see your.
Oh, now you're
Boom,
okay.
boom,
I'm
boom,
sorry.
boom.
You were back. Okay. Earlier you were. Now I am.
Bye
Okay.
to AJ's camera.
Bye, y'all.
Bye to our camera. You can reach
Cameras.
us at ken@law-disorder.com.
I'm AJ from Dallas Yoga Magazine. So look up Dallas Yoga Magazine or Cosmic Yogi Festival. It is the largest yoga festival in Texas now. Woo woo! Texas
She
is
means
largest.
Dallas Yoga Magazine online.
Yeah.
DallasYogaMagazine.com.
Yes. And
Yeah.
CosmicYogiFestival.com. Texas's largest yoga festival. Woo woo!
All right.
Okay, we're leaving.
Break
Okay.
out.